What up? Marvin, man, I'm back. I know I ain't made a video in a minute, but I've been meaning to make a video on this topic. It's been on my mind, so I want to go ahead and do it. Settling. Now, you, when it comes to settling, I mean, everybody got their own definition of words, so depends on how you look at it. Um, but I would say my definition of settling is when you accept something that you don't ultimately want, and that could be within anything in life. It could be um, buying something, going somewhere, anything. But in relationships and things like that, you don't have probably as much control because there's certain people, some people got money or they have certain, accessories or whatever that they can buy or they can do whatever they want to do in that sense. So I don't think people have almost as most as much control as they do in relationships. Now in relationships, you don't have ultimate control because you can't be another person. You can't make decisions for another person, and you can't draw or you can't create a human being. You have to accept what you come across. But you do have control of what you want, what you take, and what you accept. So the thing I want to start with is how many people have settled in their life, in relationships, and who you choose to be with. How many married couples have settled? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever thought about yourself? Or are you settling? Um, think about the first person you wanted to be with, or the person that you met in your life and you just wanted to be with them the most. Are you with that person? Um, do you think that the person that you want to be with the most, that you could not get them, or that you just knew you wasn't gonna get them, so you accepted somebody else? And it could be more than one person. You could have wanted somebody else, but you just only took what you got, and you said, okay, I'm tired of this. I'm not gonna keep trying. I'm gonna take this person and just say, okay, I'll be with you. Think about it. How many women get the man of their dreams? How many men get the woman of their dreams? How many? How many people get that? And I don't really like to use all your dreams because we're in reality, but it's just a figure of speech. People kind of know where I'm going at with that, what I mean with that. But how many people are with the person that they wanted to be with the most? Like, if you're sitting by the person you're with right now, your significant other, your spouse, whatever it may be, is there doubt in your mind, or is there somebody out there that you feel like is better for you? Or is it something out there that you want that's different? Is it right for you to be with somebody and you want something else? Is that right of you? Is that selfish of you? Is it right for you to be with somebody just because you don't want to be by yourself? Is it okay? Who are you hurting? Who are you holding back? If you're in a relationship, and it could be two people in a relationship, and they both could feel like, I don't want to be with this person, but I'm going to stay around until I find somebody that I really want to be with. Is that right? Is that right not only for the person that you're with, but for the person that you can possibly meet? You could ruin the whole relationship from the start. Is it okay that you want to be with somebody because you don't want to be alone? Not the only thing of staying with somebody is not just because you don't want to be alone. It could be because you don't want them to be with somebody else. Is that right of you to not love them enough to see them prosper, to see them, go be happy, or go find somebody who really want to be with them if you don't want to be with them? Is that right? I think ultimately when it comes to a person you want to be with the most and then a person that you only want to be with, there's a difference. I could say yeah, this is the girl I want to be with the most, but I also want to be with these girls too. But she's just higher on my list. This is just what I want the most. And then there's a way you can say this is the girl I want to be with the most, and if I get her, she's the only girl I want to be with. But if I don't get her, then I'm just gonna go with this girl because I know I can get her or I got her. So is that settling? Is it? I think another question is when you want somebody and they don't want you the first time. It could be they don't want you because you could be a backup plan for them. I'm not saying this is the thing. I'm just saying it could happen. It could be. Some people say they come back and they say, "Oh, you know, I really got to know you now, and I like you." How can you get to know me if you didn't give me a chance the first time? That means you not even open your eye to like me in that way. You're not giving me the time of day. You being with other people. You're being with other people. So how can you just come back and say you like me if you never gave me the time of day? Are you settling for me because you couldn't get what you want? Not only is it if somebody don't want you the first time, you might not even be their second choice. You might be all the way number 25. You never know what number you could be. But it's just they could be like, okay, I want this person, didn't get them, or they got them and it didn't work out. You know, whatever the case may be, got this person, and they just keep you as a friend, and then they finally say, okay, you know what, I like you. Because they could be just like, okay, I'm down to my last resort. I have no choice. If I don't want to be myself, I have to be with you because ain't nobody else gonna want me. Or the other people that want me, I don't want them. I just want you a little bit more than I want them. Are you settling? Are they settling for you? And then again, if they don't want you the first time and they come back for you and you be with them, are you settling? Because ultimately, do you want to be with somebody that don't want to be with you to the utmost? I think another thing was like a lot of times in life you can look at it and say, okay, it's just like if you know a female, she's a in school I knew a lot of girls, they was virgins or whatever, and then they get with the guy that just slept with everybody, and then you be like, what kind of stuff is this? And then after that don't work out, they want to change and be like, you know what? I don't want to live that life no more. And then they say, I want this type of guy now. I don't want to do that no more. Some people say, oh, when I'm young, I want to have all the fun. And then when I get older, then that's when I come and change. Are you settling? Because, I mean, ultimately, what's the reason for them doing that? And then you have where it could be a guy who, man, he been treating women right his whole life, but he just can't seem to find nobody, or, nothing just won't ever work out for him. And then he meets a girl who was that. She had all her fun, this is that. And she now she want him because, she's done with that part. Who's settling? Are both people settling? Ever thought about that? Where does this match up at? How does this match? I'm not saying it can't match, but how does it match? How is it fair? Because would he have wanted her at that time? Would she have wanted him at that time? Oh, people gonna say, oh, you only gonna accept me for what I am today. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, you are what you are today, but some people don't like to accept people past. And if somebody can't accept your past, then they can't be with you. They can be with you, but I don't think that's a good idea, because if you can't accept what somebody's done, it is who they are. It's not currently, it's part of them. They've done it. So I kind of think people should think more before they do things, because what you do today can affect not only yourself tomorrow, but people you meet down the road tomorrow. I think we all as human beings are a lot selfish. This is the reason why God asked us to wait to marriage to have sex, because you never know what can happen why you just running around, or why you doing what you're doing before you married, because ultimately you can hurt the person that you end up being with. You might not know it, but it's possible. And so I just think everybody should think about decisions they make before they make them. You know, because your decisions don't only affect you, and it don't only affect the people you know. It can affect somebody at the current time that you don't know yet. And then, I mean, I think another way of settling is, let's say you meet somebody and they're totally, they would never have liked you years ago, but now in their life, anything can happen. You know, any, you know, big thing in their life or big event could have happened to where they say, okay, I'm gonna like this type of person because, you know, but back then they wouldn't have liked you. Is that selling? And how would you know? You can if you kind of can see the pattern of the people they dated or the style of people they dated. But are they selling? Because they wouldn't have dated you back then. I know, like, a lot of people like to say, oh, this is my soulmate. A lot of people believe that a soulmate is a lifetime thing. Is it a lifetime thing if you do it? I don't care if we never met yet, but you know, if we would have met a long time ago, you would have never been with a person like me. So are we soulmates? Is that settling? Did they settle for you because ultimately they pretty much figured out that, okay, these type of people I like, it's just not gonna work with them? Are you settling because you're with somebody who really wouldn't have been with you for a lifetime, because a lifetime is how long you live? So I'm not saying people, a lot of people like to always use the phrase people change. That's fine. I'm not saying that that's not possible. But what I'm saying is, or is your reasoning for changing your mind is because you can't get what you want, or because you can't get things to go how you want it? You know, you get what I'm saying? So I don't think a lot of people think about stuff like that. I do. I wouldn't want to be with somebody that wouldn't want to be with me at all times of their life. But that's just my personal opinion of everything. Like, it would mess my mind up. I just know. But I think everybody's different. So some people can accept it, but just because you accept it does not mean that it's what you want. So is your acceptance of it settling? Settling is children. When people have sometimes when people have kids, they feel like, oh, I have to be with somebody now because I have a child and I want somebody to help me raise them. So I just got to find somebody who's stable. Why didn't you want nobody who was stable before you had a child? So really, you didn't want to be in a stable relationship, but since you got a child, you want to be in a stable relationship. Are you settling? And not only are you settling on yourself, are you settling on your child? Because it's not the person ultimately that you want to be with, but you choosing to just go ahead and be with somebody because you don't want to raise a kid by yourself. It could be numerous of reasons. It could be because you feel like they need a father figure in their life, or they need it. And it's some guys who take care of their own kids too. They need a mother in their life. Anything like that. But are you settling because you don't want to be patient enough to be by yourself and find somebody? You know, it's just like the thing when you with somebody and that's not the person that you really want to be with, but you just settle for them. Like, are you wrong for not just go ahead and being by yourself and taking on? It might be painful. You might not like it. You might get lonely, but is it worth waiting on the person that you really want? Because how many people do you really want? I mean, like I said, how many women can say they married the guys of their dreams or with the guy of their dreams, or how many men can say they with the girl of their dreams? You know what I'm saying? I think ultimately when it comes to selling, you have to ask yourself, what do you really want? Like what is it that you really want in a relationship? And then there's a certain thing called deal breakers. Um, I mean everybody has standards. So a deal breaker to me might not be a deal breaker to somebody else. So with that being said, some people, I mean, you can never tell nobody what they deal breaker should and shouldn't be, because that's them. That's who they want to be with. I mean, yeah, it's people that probably, it's certain stuff that I might look at and be like, man, that's not good enough not to want to be with somebody. But that's just my personal opinion. I can't tell them, but that's just me. How many people settled and said, yeah, this is my deal breaker, but man, I couldn't find nobody that didn't have it or didn't do it, or have whatever. Or did they just say, well, the person that I wanted, I couldn't get them, so I'll just settle for this person right here, you know? Another thing with settling is, let's say you're in a relationship, and ultimately, let's say you're the good person. I'm gonna use it like this. Let's say a female meets a guy, they get together, right? Ultimately, she's known as, as a fairly good woman, and he's not doing right by her. He's probably cheating, or he's mistreating. Not even cheating, he's mistreating her, whatever. And she decides to stay because she just feel like, I don't want to start over. I don't want to see him with nobody else. Um, I don't want to look bad by leaving him, and I've gave this to him, or I've done this with him, or whatever the case may be. So I'm just gonna stay with him. Are you settling? And when somebody, let's just say cheating or anything, or it could be anything. If somebody do something to you that you don't want them to do, and you accept it, are you settling? Because you didn't want that. You don't want that. No matter if they did it once and never do it again, are you still settling for something that you didn't want? Did you ever want it to happen? Did you tell yourself, when I got in a relationship, I want somebody to cheat on me once and I'll take them back? I want that? Or do you not want that? Are you settling? I can't say, are they settling, because in their mind, you're probably the person that they want to, or you probably the girl they want to be with the most, but you're probably not the only girl they want to be with. So, are you settling? Is it fair that they would do you that way? No. But at the same time, they're not forcing you to be with them. You're choosing to be with them, even if they're not what you ultimately want. I think another thing for settling is physical looks. And to some people, physical looks is not a big deal. Some people it is. Some people they feel like, oh, I never can get a girl that fits my needs of, or the desire of, that I like physically. So I'll just settle for she's okay, or he's okay. I'll just settle for that. That's all I can get. So I'll just settle for that. Do you think that's how a lot of times people cheat? Because a lot of times when you enter a relationship, or when you get married, or when somebody's interested in you, that's when a lot of people try to say they like you. Because for some reason, I feel like in the world, people just like to do stuff and be sneaky about it, or they just like to do wasn't that just is wrong, but oh my goodness, it's so exciting. Me personally, I never understood how exciting can be wrong. You get what I'm saying? A lot of times in these videos, I don't really say about my personal life, but I mean, I'll just give you one example when it comes to this video talking about settling. Now, in my lifetime, I met 3 girls, 3 women that I feel like I could have spent the rest of my life with. The first woman, I just felt like I would never love nobody like I loved her. I felt like we got along really well. She was the first girl I ever really wanted to be with. I told her everything about myself, and I kind of just was like, I don't really want to go through this with nobody else. And, I liked her. We got along, didn't work out. None of these women, I never even was in a relationship with any of them. So, but the first one, it didn't, it didn't go in my favor. She didn't want me. So, go to the second girl. I looked at her as, from sources I know, I just felt like, she was a great person. I knew she had good surroundings. Um, we got along very well too. You know, Same thing. Didn't work out. You know, didn't work out. I mean, no hard feelings toward none of these women. If they, I'm still fine with all of them. Now the third girl, this girl, I felt like out of all three, or out of every girl I ever met, when I first seen her, I just felt like she's it. She's made for me. Not only do I like her, but we're made for each other. We match. We have the same views, same values. This is who I should be with. I know it. And I'm thinking this is a confirmation from God that that's what it is. Now, I don't really believe that. I'm not saying I don't believe that God make people for people, but then at the end of the day, He also give us free will. So no matter how He shapes it up, if you don't make the decision, then it don't work out. But I'm just saying, this is a girl. I've never felt this way about nobody. I just was like, dang man, she's special. And I just feel like we match. Didn't work out. Wasn't with her. So since then, I've still never met nobody that I felt that way about. So if I never meet nobody that I feel that way about, am I settling? Am I settling for just going ahead and saying, okay, I don't really feel this way about this woman that I did as the other one. Am I settling? Because I have to ask myself, if she comes back or if she wants me one day or anything like that, what am I going to do? And I think a lot of times people don't really ultimately think about stuff like that when they're talking to other people or entering into other relationships. They just kind of want somebody for their moment, or they just kind of, for that moment, they'll just take what they can get. And me, like, I don't really like to waste people's time if I'm not ultimately excited. Like, it's hard for me to get excited. Like I said, I'm 26. I just turned 26. And 3 women, it's not a little, but it's not a lot. You know what I mean? And for me to be with none of them, that's totally different. But, it's when it comes to, I just want a lot of people to ask themselves, did you settle? Did you? And if you did, what can you do now to change that? I mean, to me, if you're married, I don't think you should break your vows. But I think a lot of people should really consider who they choose to be with, especially for a lifetime or a marriage. I just feel like sometimes you feel like in the world you have no choice but to settle. I don't think that's true, but I think a lot of people believe that. I think a lot of times people say, man, I ain't got no choice but to settle because I can never get what I want. And then, you have some people that just refuse to settle and they going to get what they want. Period. Or some people just going to end up never getting nothing that they want. And, So, I mean, I just want people to think about that, When it comes to settling, man, it's a lot of different things. It's a lot of different things that can go with it. I would never advise nobody to settle with anything, but when you ultimately think about how life is, I mean, you could be a person that never met nobody that fit what you want. It's possible. I know it's plenty. I said 3 women. It's you know how many women I met in my life? I met a lot of women, and you just be like, man, she's not what I want ultimately, or this is not what I want. But I mean, it's times where I could say, man, I'll just go ahead and I wouldn't do nobody like that. I wouldn't do myself like that. I mean, I just don't think that's cool. So, I mean, but that's me though. But, I'm not saying that there's not people who didn't get the person that they ultimately want to be with. But just ask yourself, man. Especially if you're not married, just ask yourself, man, is this the person I want to spend the rest of my life with? I think if certain people they be in relationships, if you're in a relationship for 5 years, you should know if this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Like it shouldn't be no. I'm not. I don't like to put time limit on stuff because really you can be with somebody way less than that and know if you want to or if you don't want to. Like way less than that. But I'm just saying, like, dang, man, come on, like, you know if you want, you will know. Like I kind of think it's early on where you will know. You know what I'm saying? This is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. Oh no, I can't deal with that. If you go on here and said, oh no, I can't deal with that, I just kind of, sometimes you probably just should go ahead and let it go. You know what I mean? Just go ahead and let it go. Because you're not going to do nothing but hold.